Age, I don't know.
People got their little kids doing TikTok.
Do you put an age limit on it?
What, like across the border for my kids?
They're making too much money. That's not happening. They're not putting an age limit on social media.
Oh, the social media for sure.
They're
not doing it.
They're trying to get rid of TikTok and they couldn't get rid of it. People are mad about it. Was the president trying to do it? And they got mad at him for trying to get rid of TikTok.
I don't know. I'm just asking. Do y'all think we put an age limit on social media?
We should.
Look, okay.
Bill's over here trying. I don't know.
That's not happening, guys. You gonna how you gonna get that? You're not gonna get that. You just not.
But should you?
So it's not on the.
Should you?
I think the parent. So your question was: is it the app or the phone? Right. I don't think this to me is an or. It's not an app or the phone. I think it's and. I think it's both.
Well,
right?
Yeah. Well, I mean,
so
the phone doesn't work without the app.
But exactly. But the content.
The apps don't happen without the phone.
Here's the thing: as a parent, you have the choice to decide what content your kid gets on its phone. Okay.
Yeah, okay.
Hold on.
Okay.
Hold on. And you get these. I know. I'm probably a little naive about this. My kids don't have social media, by the way. They're not allowed to.
But if it's anything, it's movies, it's YouTube, it's constantly being on a screen.
Well, Discovery Plus, you can get the all drag hour if you want to. You know.
Well, so what's the answer? You're gonna have your kids grow up in the society now that everything that's being used is on its phone. You're gonna have them grow up in a society where they don't know anything about it.
How are the Amish doing? What's their stats?
Well, that's the answer.
Are there young men getting married?
Wait, so you're saying that you right now you can't raise a kid unless you give them a phone?
No, I'm not saying you can raise a kid. I'm saying at some point your kid's gonna have to get one of these things. And
why you can't get a flip phone?
Oh, bring back Snake. I'm ready.
You can.
Snake.
I'm saying are you preparing your kid, right, when he turns 18 or 20, when he can go get his own phone, right? By not teaching them what's in here or how the proper way to use it.
Okay, you said 18 or 20. Problem is, people are giving their kids phones at 5, 6, 7. So I got multiple kids who are in low elementary school, and a lot of these kids got phones in like second grade. You're
Absolutely.
7 years old.
I agree, but that's up to you as the parent. Okay, so you need to teach the parents.
He's putting it on the parents.
I don't disagree.
Completely
with
up to the
These
parents.
not these parents, but other parents are taking their kids to drag shows.
Yeah.
You need to teach your kid, you need to teach the parents of when it is appropriate, not appropriate to have social media and all these things.
Yes, you're right. It's not the phone's fault.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like, but the thing is that
crack don't do crack. People do crack.
Exactly.
I got you, man.
Welcome to the Not Offended Podcast. What's going on, everybody? Your boy Anthony, the conservative Chicano writer, sitting next to my dude who is back. Not that you were on vacation, but he's back and better than ever. I'm talking about the agent. Yes, my man, Bill Richardson. So good to have you back, Bill.
Good to be back.
Crosswoods, we got Little Truth. We got the Bishop over here. What's up, Bishop? And we got, of course, the Token. And I know if you guys are, new to us, you're probably wondering who's who. Mike is the Token and the Bishop is Deshaun. See, we tricked you guys. Hey, I want to thank you so much for tuning in and subscribing to our podcast. You can find us on Apple iTunes. You can find us on Spotify. You can watch us on YouTube. And I really don't know where else you can watch us at, but maybe you can find us out there somewhere else. But we so appreciate it if you would give us a 5-star review. Even if you feel like we're only worth 3 stars, just give us 5. I mean, it just boosts us up there. But we are getting comments from all over the place. I want to do some shout outs to everybody who's watching us, whether you're from NorCal, SoCal, Nevada. We just appreciate it. I got somebody who watches me up in Washington. Appreciate you, bro. Humboldt County's in the house. They'll be watching me up there because Mike remembers Humboldt. You remember Humboldt?
No,
you don't remember,
that's about much. I don't remember Humboldt.
Mike don't remember nothing about Humboldt. That was before Jesus, okay? So we got a hot one for you today. There's lots of stuff to talk about, but we're going to start off with something that one of our viewers tagged me in. They showed me something, and it's called the Baby Drag Show. And I first want to state that we have been saying on this program from the beginning, because this program was created because we want to talk about culture and its influence on the church. And one of the things we've been saying is that there's an agenda to indoctrinate our children. There's an agenda to indoctrinate our kids. And people keep saying we're conspiracy theorists, we're crazy. Why y'all always talk about it? Well, we talk about it because it's really going on and people got their head buried in the sand. And it just says, this is in the Daily Mail, and it says, baby drag show cancels upcoming shows after backlash and insists event was never targeted at children, but for parents who wanted to have fun with their kids. Does anybody else see the oxymoron in that statement? It's not targeted towards children, but we want parents to come with their kids. So my question real quickly, well, who's it targeted for then?
So parents bring your baby. So let me get this right. So it's grown men or women.
Well, it's called Kaba Baba Rave.
So they're dressed in drag, and parents who have babies bring their babies to the drag show. That's kind of
a sold-out baby show. A sold-out baby sensory show featuring half-naked drag, burlesque, BDSM acts with filthy names has been canceled. That's what it was displaying. BDSM, burlesque, and half-naked men dressing up as women. And they said, go ahead and bring your kids. Are you guys bringing your kids? Is that what we're doing?
This is crazy.
Have we been saying this, though? But they want to tell you it's hold on. Pardon me. It's family friendly for the whole family. You guys are speaking something. I mean, you don't even have words.
We literally just saw this when you saw this. Like,
what's your first thought?
How sick is this?
What's your first thought?
Yeah, if people are sick. I don't know.
Okay, to me is, who are these parents? It was a sold-out show, right?
All their shows were sold out up until they had to cancel them due to the backlash. How sick are people? The moral depravity of people. Okay, let me ask you a different question. Where does it end?
It ends with one of these dudes harming a little baby. That's where it ends. They don't want to say that, but that's where it ends. You're dancing for little babies, like grown men. Like, these dudes are sick.
I've never seen you guys so speechless in my entire life on the Not Offended podcast. It's like I just hit you with some cold water or something. I don't know.
This is just crazy. There is no end to it. I think that maybe I just have been giving people the benefit of the doubt that they're really not as crazy as that they are, but they're sold out shows. Unfortunately, I saw the pictures that were on this article. This is nuts. We're talking about babies. Like, they can't sit up on their own babies.
It is, yes, correct. It's basically targeted
it shows you.
Targeted towards infants down to babies, or infants up to toddlers, yes.
So instead of taking kids to like tumbling class, they're taking...
How about just to the zoo? Oh, that's right. We do drag shows at the zoo now, so we got to take that off the board. Okay, so we can't even take them to the zoo. Tumbling class? Okay. I would say take them to the library. Oh, hold on. Wait a minute. We do drag shows at the library too. So where are we not doing drag shows? Oh, let's take them to church. Oh, we're doing drag shows in the church too.
At the Trinity Temple down the street.
That's right. We do. They did a drag show at the church.
Is anywhere safe? Yeah. Is anywhere safe? Listen, there's an agenda. Would you please hear me? There is an agenda, an all-out assault on your children. It is backed by major money. It is backed by networks like Discovery Plus with their new show called Generation Drag, hosted by the Tyra Banks. And all it's doing is showcasing, I believe it's 3 or 4 boys who think they're girls, and parents who have signed off on this and are just allowing their kids to be, quote unquote, their true selves. Guys, I'm telling you, we need to wake up. Where's the church? Like, we need to wake up. Like, hello. Like, it is going from bad to worse. And we must ask ourselves at the end of the day, where does it end? Listen, the indoctrination now is starting with babies, infants. It is starting. Somebody has to get up and say, too far. Too far, stop it. We need laws that say, okay, let me put it to you this way. Do you think people would sign up with you taking your boys who are the same age, I think 6 or 7? You think people would sign up with you taking them to a strip club?
No, we'd get CPS called on us.
So you mean you can't take my 2 godsons to a strip club, but you could take them to a drag show? What's the difference? You thinking my mom might watch this? I ain't saying nothing about no strip club. I got us in trouble last time.
All I was thinking, my first reaction was dollars. I guess that's the difference.
Oh,
I don't know. What's the
lighting's a little darker. The lighting's a little dimmer. Strip club. I don't know.
Well, I think you can get some food at a strip club. I think you get some wings and things.
There might be a little daycare at the strip club. Parents bringing them in, but. I'm sorry.
This was going from bad to worse. This was not
where
my point.
This goes. You kept asking, where does this go? This is a problem. This is a problem with when there was a line drawn in the sand, right? With, let's say it was gay marriage and things, 15, 20 years ago, and you cross that line, and now you have to kind of defend yourself for crossing back then, and it just keeps going down the road. Right, and so this is why my focus is on these parents who take these kids or their young kids and to these shows. Like they've crossed that line years ago, and now they have to just keep going. Oh, this sounds good. This is okay to do.
So is pedophilia next? In your opinion, do you think pedophilia is next?
It's gonna end there.
So you think that's going to be added to the? I don't even know all the alphabets right now. LG.
P. It'd be P. Whatever. Add a P to it. Pedophilia, but they won't call it that.
What do you think it'll call? Love is love?
Family friendly.
What?
Love is love. That's what they're gonna say.
No, I'm being real. Where does it end?
Yeah, I mean, their logic just keeps going down that road, where it's you can't tell me how to live my life. This is how I feel. This is how I am. And because this is how I am, and this is how I feel, and this is how I love, you have to sign off on it. Or you're a bigot, you hate me, hate speech, and all that stuff.
So everything we've already heard.
Yeah. If there's no moral law or moral lawgiver, then you can do whatever you want. It's just all about the laws of the land. Well, if your city says you can do it, then you can do it, and there's no moral law to be there. That's where it leads. It has no other place to lead. Unless you say that there is God, and that he has put a moral law in our hearts. That's the only way that will stop man from becoming completely evil. Okay. Otherwise, you're going to keep going down that road.
So you're going to get Romans 1.
Yeah, basically.
You're going to get Romans 1.
We've been given over.
You've been given over to a reprobate mind. You asked about the parents. They have a reprobate mind. They've been given over. Because that's what happens. When you have no moral compass, you're just given over to the lust of the flesh. You know what? The flesh never says enough. It never says stop. It never says you've gone too far. It's just more and more and more and more. That's just the bottom line. And this is why, okay, I made such a big argument for the mayor of Fresno to take a stand. When he raised that gay flag, it was him bowing his knee to the agenda. It was him putting aside his Christian faith for his one Fresno doctrine, because it's a doctrine. And now, I guarantee you, now he's going around, he's going to all the churches, and he's telling everybody, hey, I was young in my candidacy. I was young in my tenure as a mayor. I may have made a mistake. I guarantee he's going to the churches now singing a different tune. But where is the church? Hold him accountable. Call him out on that. Will there be another flag? Is it going to go up again? Or is it going to be the trans flag now? Is he signing off to that? Are you listening? Are you hearing me? Do you see this? But yet parade him around, hold him accountable. Hold his pastor accountable for not holding him accountable. Oh, I felt that. That was good. Got that. And you didn't say anything. I'm so proud of you, Mike. You stayed there so quiet. You did really good. But this is it. Am I wrong? Do you think do you think he's going around? I think he's going around. I mean, I could be wrong. I mean, I don't have any evidence. But do you think he's going around right now? He's running for re-election.
Yeah, the political winds shift, and so you shift with it.
So he's doing the apology tour or the I was misunderstood tour.
Or no one cares.
Yeah. It's 2 years ago. That was last year's kind of topic.
You really think no one cares? That's an interesting comment.
I mean, it's possible. No one cared what they did to us down here. Your boy Larry Powell was down with it.
How long you been waiting to say that name? How long you been waiting to say that?
I don't care. If I see him in person, I'll tell him to. He's old and he ain't gonna do nothing.
Mike, help your boy out over here. Mike, hey, this is tricky.
And he's obviously a coward, so.
Man, tripling down. Go ahead, Deshaun. Keep going. Keep going. What else you want to say, man?
Yeah, I mean, man.
He is a coward.
Oh,
We in this together.
Ride or die?
Yeah.
Ride or die. There you go. Okay,
yeah,
there you go.
I've been waiting to see him too. I just haven't seen him yet.
Yeah, you know what? The people who came out and spoke out of ignorance, the day's coming. You know, the day's coming where they'll have to answer. You know, they'll have to at least give us an explanation why. And I think we're seeing it now. We called out the mayor then. We continue to call out. I don't kiss anybody's ring because I only have one Lord and Savior, it's Jesus Christ. So I don't bow my knee to anybody. And I definitely don't kiss butt or go on apology tours. That's not what I do. And I know the day of reckoning is coming. And the churches will be held accountable. And I know I got people out there who tell me, well, you need to be civil. You need to pray for those. I do pray for him. I pray that he repents. I pray that he gets his heart right before Jesus. That's my prayer. You need to pray that the city prospers. I do. But I pray that as it prospers, it turns its heart to Jesus. But I'll tell you this much. I don't believe in this whole thing. I still think that in order to live civilly, then you got to be able to voice your frustrations and your concerns. And I think people are just too enamored with who he is. And I've said it before. I said he was a better chief of police than he's ever been as a mayor. And that just shows you he just went too politicized, and he's kowtowing to these agendas. He bent his knee to COVID. He bent his knee, to this whole trans gay agenda thing. And I tell you what, you reelect him, you watch what's going to happen when he knows he doesn't gotta appease anybody. Watch what happens.
He's just a puppet to the city council.
That's it. That's all. So that's just my opinion. This is the Not Offended Podcast. Thank you for tuning in. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Please share this, comment. Leave us a comment. If you think we're wrong about all this stuff, then just let us know. And some of you have been citing some sources. Y'all just flat out wrong. We ain't got time. And if you leave us a paragraph, I don't know what to tell you, but nobody really got time to read a paragraph. So just letting you know that. And I know you keep coming after me, like where you cite these sources. I tell you where I cite my sources, then you go, where'd you cite your source? The place I cited my source. Okay, there you go. All right, just wanted to get that out of the way because people be doing like, wait, you didn't cite a source. I rewinded. I cited a source. You just didn't like the source I cited. There's a big difference there, okay? Spotify, iTunes, YouTube, you got us. Okay, so here's what I find interesting going back to all this. Our boy Deion Sanders. Well, my boy, I like Deion. I like Primetime. I don't know if you guys like him. I like Primetime. Yeah. He got into a little bit of trouble. Deion Sanders he's fighting a war on two fronts right now. And I think this is important because we're going to be talking about an article that came out that is really interesting about young men. But I got to talk about Deion real quick because I never thought I would quote Shaquille O'Neal, but I'm about to quote Shaquille O'Neal. So everybody, this might need a drum roll moment. But Deion comes down and he says, hey, when I'm looking for a quarterback, I'm looking for an athlete that comes from a two-parent home, has a very good GPA, and is well-disciplined. And all of a sudden, I think, Deshaun, correct me if I'm wrong on this, somebody from USA Today, was it USA Today came after him?
Oh, I don't know.
Oh, do you remember who wrote that article? If you guys can look that up real quick. Somebody from a prominent paper came after him and said that Deion had this crazy standard, and Deion doesn't even meet his own standards, and he's just foolish for this. And interesting, Shaquille O'Neal, Shaq, I love me some Shaq, who's done very well for himself, comes to Deion's defense, and I wrote it down. He says, ain't nothing wrong with what Deion said. Ain't nothing wrong with what he said, I repeat. You know why I have discipline? You know why I didn't get in trouble? You know why I didn't do dumb bleep? I guess I could have said it and you could have bleeped it out. What was that? USA Today. Yeah, okay, USA. Yeah. The guy from USA Today went after Deion. That's right. I knew that. Yeah, I said that. He said, you know why I didn't do some dumb bleep? You fill in the blank. Daddy would have whooped my bleep. Okay. He said a lot of kids don't have that. A lot of kids have hardworking mothers that really have to work, and they grow up on their own. And you can go left or you can go right. Studies show, statistics show that's just how it is. Shaq explained in his own podcast. Shout out to Shaquille O'Neal for defending Deion Sanders on what he called a standard. You might say, well, why was this just a big deal? I don't know why. I don't know why it's a big deal that Deion Sanders says this is the type of player I want to recruit, because statistically speaking, these types of players don't get in trouble. Bill, help me to understand, why was that such a big deal what Deion said?
Well, I think there probably are single moms or kids that come from single parent homes that maybe took offense to that.
People hate the truth.
Yeah. I think he's being honest, and what he's talking about specifically is the quarterback position, right? And what it entails as a quarterback is probably
decisiveness, decision making,
leadership, and all
discipline.
those things, and discipline, right? And so you get that
Confidence,
identity,
all those things you get
emotional intelligence
from your father, right, at home. And so he's looking for quarterbacks that have those things.
All right. If people don't believe the stat, then leave a comment, and I want you to look at the top 31 quarterbacks in the NFL and tell me how many of them do not come from a two-parent house.
Ooh. What do you think, D? What do you think that's going to be? Oh, what, you got stuff on your phone right now. What'd you do?
Oh, okay.
You fact-checking us?
No, it was funny. He said Deion Sanders looks for dual-parent homes and quarterback recruits, single mama households, and defensive linemen.
Yeah. See? Yes.
Yeah.
On defense, he was someone that's angry that daddy left them and ready to hurt somebody.
That's true.
It's true. People don't like the truth.
We're not going to recover from that on this show. My mind is blown, bro. You did not know. No, where'd you get that at?
I read it.
Where'd you get that at?
This Fox News is on there.
He said, I'm looking for somebody from a single mama household. I need that boy right there. He mad, boy.
He mad. My daddy left me. I'm mad. I'm killing somebody today.
You want to break somebody's neck. I love it.
He got a chip.
That's funny. Hey, I'm going to go a step further on Mike's challenge.
Yeah.
Let's go a
Bet
step
you it's
further.
less than 5 out of 31.
Let's go even harder. Let's watch this.
Less than 5
Yep.
do not come
Correct.
from a two-parent house.
So, real quickly, let's do this real quick. Super Bowl winning quarterbacks. I want somebody to find out Super Bowl winning quarterbacks out of how many Super Bowls? I can't remember what Super Bowl we just had, 47 or whatever. It doesn't matter. Out of all the Super Bowls and Super Bowl quarterbacks, and I'll even make the field a little broader. From the ones who won to the ones who lost, how many of those quarterbacks did not come from a two-parent household?
Yeah, sweet. I'll take a minute to find that.
But what do you think that is? What do you think that is?
I don't know.
How many Super Bowls has there been?
50-some, 55 or something.
Okay.
56.
Okay, so that would have been 100. Well, no, some quarterbacks have been there multiple times, like Tom Brady and
Say 75 quarterbacks.
Okay, so we'll say out of 75, we'll just say 80. We'll make it an even number. How many of those 80 quarterbacks that have played in Super Bowl? How many of you would say did not come from a two-parent household? And then we'll see if somebody proves us wrong. Hold on, camera right here. I tell you what. For those of you who looked this up, and if it is more than 5 quarterbacks that didn't come from a two-parent household, right? If it's more than 5 and you're able to find the first person to find the answer, I'll give you $100. You just got to leave me your info, and I'll literally Venmo you or Cash App you $100. I don't think it's more than 5. Prove me wrong. You think?
I'm gonna start looking.
We already started looking. We are
stopping the show right now to go look this up.
Bart Starr. Did Bart Starr have a mom and a dad?
Hey, y'all need $100? Is that what you said? You can use a hundo?
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
I'm not at a place where I don't need a $100.
Okay, no, I'm serious. I don't think it's more than 5.
Man, that would be remarkable. I even started looking at the top 10 NBA players of all times.
That's a good point. This is the same thing. So going back to the original thing, I feel a sense of I don't want to say pride, but I feel a sense of like joy in my heart that you finally got prominent athletes standing up with conviction for their assessing of situations. In other words, I'm proud of Deion holding to himself and saying, no, this is what I'm looking for. And I'm proud of Shaquille O'Neal, just like I was proud of Marcellus Wiley. I sent that to you, but all of you, saying, listen, my daughter will not compete against boys. And I don't care how they identify themselves. And then remember, they came after him. I think Jamil Hill came after him. He said, no, hold on. I respect you, but you don't know the facts. Let me give you the facts. He did a whole thing. We finally got prominent athletes who are not afraid of losing sponsorships, who are not afraid of losing certain things, saying, listen, enough's enough. Knock it off. So I don't know. I mean, I'm happy for Deion for sticking to his convictions. I'm happy for Shaq. What do you guys? I mean, That's a big deal. I mean, are you guys surprised, or you actually happy for this too? Finally, people are finding the courage to say like, "Hey, enough's enough."
It's a strong comment to make. He didn't have to do it. He could have stayed quiet about that and not said that. So for him to do that, it really shows that he really believes it to be true, and he's going to fight for it. So yeah, it's pretty impressive that he did it.
Yeah, but by this time in his career, he's not a rookie to the media. So he knows exactly what to say, when to say it, who to say it to. He knows what kind of backlash and pushback he's going to get. And so he knew exactly this was definitely not a flippant statement. At least I would be very surprised if it was.
Right. You were going to say?
Yeah, no, just he's an established guy. I think it's just going to take more people to come out and be in support of that, in my opinion. You know, if you're playing in your career, do you say, you know, in your middle of your career, do you say controversial things? Not really.
Now that one NBA player learned real quick, you get caught slipping on air, it's a $30,000 fine. Yeah, he ain't saying that again, right? And he just said it off the cuff. Bam, got hit with a fine, and he had to do an apology tour.
If you were to sit down and interview athletes, right, about their relationships with either their father, who have fathers, who did not have fathers, you'll see that they have some deep things that, you know, that they have to deal with still about not having a father in their home. And
yes, so, I mean, it kind of the basis of what we're talking about is just that nuclear family.
Yeah,
correct.
And people right now are hating the concept of the fact that that's the way that God intended it to be.
Correct.
They hate the fact that there's supposed to be one man, one woman, raising a house, sticking it out, working through their marriage, and then that's actually the blueprint for success. They hate hearing that. And so they try to push it at the very young age of babies with
obviously
with trans stuff,
jab, whatever it was, drag
or
show,
whatever it may be. And so his statement is correct. If you want to raise a young man to be confident, to be able to be decisive, to be a great leader, he can be all of those things with only having one mom in the house or only having a dad. But there's a better chance that if he has both a man and a woman, a dad and a mom in the home, that blueprint is going to bring him success. And so as a coach, and he's recruiting a kid, he's got to say, what's the best chance that I've got to get? This is it. This is the blueprint. What's the blueprint for a crazy defensive end? Somebody with daddy issues.
Well, obviously, that's what he said. Yeah, he's figured out something.
You want crazy. You don't want a nice guy playing defense. We've talked about that before.
Yeah, I've coached football, and there's been a couple guys I'm like, you're just too nice. You got to get a little angrier. Yeah, you got to be, yeah.
Yeah, well, sports is just cutthroat that way. All the stuff that they're out in the media now that people are saying to be sensitive and all these different type of things, how you view people. I mean, in sports, they look at how you look. I mean, if you're fat and out of shape, they'll say you're fat out of shape. You ain't playing on this team.
Absolutely.
I forgot what coach it was, but he said, it might have been Georgia's old coach, but he said always looked at their ankles. No matter how big they were, even like the big defensive linemen, he thought they had skinny ankles, that means they were an athlete. Because most people who are athletes are always going to have thin, no matter if their calves are huge, big legs, they usually have.
They stayed active.
Yeah, they usually had thin ankles. He's like, I'm judging people. You show up to this, you show up to like I'm judging you.
Shannon Sharp tells the story, and I believe it was Shanahan. I believe it, not Kyle, right? Who I think Kyle's the head coach. Yeah, it's the head coach for the Niners, but it was
Mike
Shannon or Steve Shannon. Yeah, whatever the dad is.
Yeah,
I believe he went up to Shannon Sharp. Shannon Sharp tells a story, and I believe it was Shanahan. Might have been his college coach, and Shanahan was carrying a little bit of weight around his stomach. And the first thing he did was he went up and he grabbed it, and he says, "You'll never make it. Get rid of that." And Shannon tells that was a defining moment in his career because he stopped eating fast food and started eating right, and it prolonged his NFL career. Remember, he's a two-time Super Bowl. He'll remind you, he's a two-time Super Bowl Hall of Fame, tight end. And he said that right there. He says, he absolutely lit into me because I was fat. Going back to what you were saying, they will judge you. Go to the NFL Combine. What are they doing you? What are they doing? They're judging you. Height, weight, broad jump, because there's a measurement. There's an algorithm for a prospect. And I think that's interesting. But I segue to this. This is the Not Offended podcast. We're talking about culture and its influence on the church, and we have a real epidemic. Okay, we have a real epidemic on our hands. 63. This is out of the headlines, written by Bresson Thies and I believe this was in the Daily Mail or the Daily Wire as well. And it says this: 63% of young American men are single. most young women are in relationships. Now, the stat got a little bit more honed in, and it's 64% of young men, I believe I'll look this up real quick, between the ages of 18 and 30. And you ready for this? 32% of women. It literally has doubled. And they were talking about this, and I gave you guys this article, and you can correct anything that was misaligned right there. But the question becomes, why aren't young men dating? I think it's for the last few weeks now. I've talked about seeing the young bucks in the gym and they can't shoot their shot. Like they're just nervous and stuff's going on. And I sent this out to you guys, just full disclosure for everybody on the cast right now on the podcast. I sent this out to you and I said, what's going on? Why do you think the statistic is the way it is? What exactly is taking place? And so we're going to start with you, Mike Cook. 62%. First off, were you aware of this stat? Did it catch you by surprise? And what do you think is one of the causes for this stat being so high that young men are just they're not even looking to date? What do you think is going on?
Okay, number one, was I surprised? Yeah, I was surprised. I mean, I knew that when it comes to younger people dating, just what we thought was normal back in the day, I knew things were just weird. Like Tinder, for example. Okay. Like, that's just weird.
Okay.
So I mean, I knew that things were off a little bit. The statistics, as I was looking into them, they make some sense. Why do I think this is taking place? I think one of the reasons why I think that it's high, that number is lower for females, but it's also still high. I think it's the highest for any age group in the women category as well. And I think, as I was thinking about it, I think one of the reasons why men and women are slow to get into meaningful relationships is because we have done a poor job modeling marriage.
Okay.
When you have church statistics matching out of church statistics when it comes to divorce.
Okay.
I think that we just have done a poor job. And you have to think of like all the kids that who have been raised in church and seen their parents divorce, and they've, seen pastors fall off. It's like, what's the difference? Even in the best model that I'm supposed to be, following, I'm still seeing it broken.
Right.
So I might as well just try my own thing, do whatever feels good.
Okay.
And I think that as men and in the church, we have to just do a better job of modeling marriage, healthy marriage.
Okay, so let me real quickly. You said that you were surprised with Tinder and all that. Doesn't it make it seem like the guys out there who are between 18 and 29 are just sleeping around? Like they're pulling 2 or 3 chicks a weekend. Like it's just this one big party. And come to find out, it's not. There's a top less than what they say. They said the top less than 5% of men are the ones who are actually sleeping around. The rest aren't at all.
Yeah, there's a small percentage of men who are sleeping with all the women, is what the stats say, right?
And the rest of them are not doing anything at all. Matter of fact, they're not only celibate, they're highly addicted to pornography. Mm-hmm. Like we have a real epidemic. Our birth rate is so low right now. We are in trouble. So that's the part with all these apps, Mike Cook, with all these apps and all these possibilities, they're not finding no love. There is no love in the club. They're not finding it.
You guys know where we're at, like our abortion rate? Are we higher right now than we have been in the past? Do you guys know that?
No, we're actually not, because there ain't nobody getting pregnant. According to these stats, it's just this is not sleeping around. And so I begs the question. They said, well, who are the women? If it's half of the women, who are they marrying? They're going after older guys. Why are they going after older guys? Stability and security.
Yeah.
These older guys know how to shoot their shot and take their chance, and they're offering stability and security. Where you got the majority of these young boys, 18 to 29, are what? Living at home.
Sitting in their mom's basement playing Call of Duty.
Last time you said video games, we got so much smoke. Even Jake chimed in and said, why you got to bring up the video games, Mike Cook?
Hey, I'm telling you, at some point,
Stats don't lie. Okay. Stats don't lie.
At some point, you got to be an adult and put the video games down.
You're right. Go ahead, D.
Look at Deshaun. He wants to say it.
Go ahead,
We'll come back.
Deshaun's over like, my friends still play video games. Help me out here.
Go ahead, Bill.
Okay, go ahead.
So I used to think the same thing.
Okay.
The reason women don't want to date these young men is because they're just at home playing video games. I think it goes a little deeper than that.
Give it to us.
I think the young men are they're defeated and they're giving up. Okay, because one, society's just been attacking them, right, for not being mature, right, being immature and all these things. But then two, these young women are looking for security and stability in these older men, right? And so they've completely just don't even look at these 18 to 29-year-old men for a relationship. They look at like maybe 30, 35-year-olds and older.
A generation who were told that it's okay to be a man.
Exactly.
Yes.
But here's why. Women don't date. They don't date men who are socially in a position lower than they are. Meaning if they make less money than they do, they don't go after them. They go after men who are making more or on a higher
correct.
social.
Not typically correct.
And if you're 18-year-old, a 20-year-old man, you're not making that much money. And so your pool of women are very small, right? And these women are dating older men. And so they're becoming defeated. And this is why they're turning to maybe, pornography or, video games and things like that. They go, what's the point? Been out there and I tried to date somebody, but I'm getting beat by these older men. So,
well, I think, Mike, you nailed on something, and Bishop, chime in on that. He said there's a generation of men it was okay to be a man. That was acceptable. And now, through the wussification, we've raised a generation where they tell them we don't even know what a man is. You can identify as anything you want. Whether it's a furry, a female, or anything else, you can be whatever you want. So, go ahead.
But they say that, but that's not true.
Of course it's not true.
You're
because I want to identify as a man and I get smoked for it.
Exactly. So you're allowed to have a lot of pride in anything except for being a strong masculine man.
No, I'll one up you. Don't be a strong white masculine man. You're not only are you a mythical unicorn, you're hunted. It's tricky.
It's tricky.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, what were we gonna say? Go ahead.
That's I was listening to Jordan Peterson a little bit, and
he's all over this.
Well, so it's funny. He didn't. This is the one question that he didn't want to answer. It was interesting. I never heard him not want to answer a question. He was like, I can't. It's hard for me to make a blanket statement. He's all, for me, I have to meet with the guy for like 10 weeks and I can give you an answer.
Okay.
Because he said it was all these things, but I can't tell you specifically for every single man, like what's going on.
That's smart. Mm-hmm. True.
And so, but I think it's a few of these different things. And I think, Bill, that you're right in saying that, that men are scared to be man. And right now they're told that, you can't be strong, you can't do these things. Also that women, so you're supposed to be able to support, like helpfully support your wife, but it's about the middle class, how it's gone. So if it is these top percentage of men that have all the money and all these things, yeah, they're the ones sleeping with all the women. And the average, young man from that age, how are they making money to buy a house right now?
Mm-hmm. How do you afford a house right now?
So let's say if you go to college for 4 years and now you have all the student debt, and then you can't even get a good job that paying. You just trying to pay off your student debt. You might have an apartment. Maybe it'd be a good wise for you to move back with your parents so you can get out of debt, and then you can eventually go save a.
But how you gonna bring your date to your parents' house?
How you gonna bring a date to your house? So what do?
They get depressed.
Mm-hmm. You look at porn. So you're not motivated to talk to girls anymore. You try to do everything you can. You're stuck in this position. So what do they do? So even if a guy wanted to do something, they did good in school, they went to college, now I have all this student debt, now I can't get a job, I'm losing my parents to try to just make it. What do I do? Okay, I have a question. This might get us into trouble, but who cares? We're always in trouble anyway. Mm-hmm. Do you think women hold all the cards? Do you think they have the advantage?
In deciding who they want to date?
Yeah, and who they want to date.
Oh.
You think they have the advantage?
100%.
Yeah, 100%.
Wait, when have they not?
Think about this.
Yeah. But what I was
here's why I'm saying this.
Hunter and gatherers.
No, here's why I say this. If we got women, which I'm open to getting women on the program, but if we got women out there and just whether they're Christian, non-Christian, or whatever, and you start asking, what are you looking for in a man? I guarantee you they start throwing out stuff like, well, I want him to be taller. Well, how tall? Well, I want him to be taller than what I am. Okay, so what? You want him to be 6 foot? That just takes your pool of men down to less than 5% of the known world. Yeah. Oh, what I want him to be 6 foot and I want him to make $100,000 over a year. Okay, now we got the less than 3%. Mm-hmm. Okay, I want him to be 6 foot, 100,000 a year, and I want him to already own a home and be stable in his job. Now you just went to the top 1.5% of the men that are left. So you're looking for the mythical unicorn.
So the guy that
go ahead.
The guy that wrote the Boy Crisis was talking about this.
Farrell.
So he's talking about like a lot of males were rewarded for going off to war.
Correct.
It was he calls it a social bribe.
Yep.
That you're willing to protect your country, and when you come back, women loves you because you're willing to do that. You got a GI Bill. You are able to go and buy a house.
And do what? Right there.
You're able to go buy a house.
That's right.
You're able to get a good job because you got skills in the
That's
military.
right.
So you are set up, in the society rewarded you for what you did. Now, what did we reward men for?
Nothing. You can't even say you identify. You can identify as everything else but a man. Listen, I'm telling you right now, where is the church? We need to go after every young man we see and say, listen, I want to affirm your masculinity. It is not toxic. It is needed. Listen, I realized something reading the word the other day. Nobody liked David until a Goliath showed up. Nobody wanted David around until nobody could take care of the giant. Nobody wanted to reward David until after he killed the giant. And then all of a sudden, David was loved. He was rewarded until what? Until somebody got jealous. Until somebody got mad at David because he killed his 10,000. Saul only killed his 1,000. But every time there's a giant, you are looking for a warrior. Every time there's a war, you're going after young men. Every time there's a building that needs to be built, you're going after young men. Every time there's a road that needs to be paved, you're going after a young man. I'm telling you right now, we need to go after the young men because this 63%, this is screaming danger, danger, danger. We have codified. We have tried the Peter Pan syndrome. We have just put men in this box. It's time for men to break out, find their God-given purpose and destiny, and go get them a bride. And I don't know how that needs to happen, but we need to tell them right now, you need to put down the phone and go get yourself a job. Go get yourself a skill set. We need to bring back schools that teach skill sets. Be a welder, be a plumber, be an iron worker, be a framer, be a roofer, be an AC technician. Go and get yourself a skill, make yourself valuable, and then you'll be able to go out there and compete with the rest of these guys.
Exactly what I was going to say. There's a lot of guys at our church right now who are skilled workers, who are taking care of their families, who are making a good living, that have great marriages. We need to promote those people. Like, we need to endorse them. We need to send young men to them to realize, like, hey, you can be like him. Look at his life. Look at his marriage. Look at his kids. You can be like this. Like, you can be a strong man out there making good money and take care of your family. You don't have to drive the Lamborghini to be the man and have an amazing wife and amazing kids. It doesn't have to be that way. And realize these are the guys you need to follow, not the guys on YouTube or whatever social media they're following.
But we've highlighted those who are highly educated, and it's bit us in the butt. We put all our marbles into one basket. Oh, you need to go get educated. You need to go get educated. We sent our kids off to Caesar, and they came back Romans, and now we're pissed about it. When realistically, we got friends who make more than people who got their doctorates.
Oh, yeah. Lots of friends.
We got friends who make more than what teachers make. Substantially more because of their skill and how scarce the skills are. Try to find a welder right now. You pay in bucks.
So there's a huge opportunity now. Now, if the skills, the field for skilled workers have diminished, there's potential for all these young men, right, to go and get these jobs. They're still needed, right? And so high skill positions are in demand right now. And so people have a tremendous opportunity to jump into that.
Yeah,
and they're paying a lot.
Society tells the kids, only the stupid ones do that.
Yeah, but have your toilet clogged and you can't fix it. Who you calling?
Yeah, if you look at the liberals or Democrat Party, the people that would say they need equality at are all these top positions. They never go into the to people working on cars and say mechanics and say, hey, where's all the black people at? No one goes there and say that for the positions. It's always where the CEOs at, where the black CEOs at. Like, you don't care about those positions. You're not trying to get people into those fields. They always have to be these top high-end positions working for the president. Look at my cabinet. Who cares about your cabinet? How about everyone else that you're supposed to represent? How about you help them go get skilled jobs? But no one cares about that. So you have this group of men who are just stuck and they have nowhere to go, nothing to do, and it's like,
let me ask you something though. Why is that intentional? Why are they doing that? Because it would change ghettos. It would change urban areas. It would empower black men, Hispanic men. It would empower them to such a degree they'd be small business owners, which is the backbone of our country.
So you're saying,
of course, it's intentional. They want to keep you down. They want to keep you on that nanny state. They want to keep you on some welfare. They want to keep you on all the government assistance they can and tell you how poor and pathetic and woe is you. Blame it on the white man because he took your job. Ain't nobody stopping you from learning how to wrench, learning how to roof, learning how to fix a toilet, which pays phenomenal.
And most of them are white.
Yes. Go and learn. You could be bringing that back. Fixing a car ain't going out of style. It just got more expensive. Getting your toilet fixed or being a plumber isn't going out of style. It just got more expensive. Call somebody. We live in Fresno, y'all. If you're watching the Not Offended podcast, thank you for tuning in. We live in Fresno. It's going to be a hot summer. Go a day without an AC in your house. Who are you calling? You calling a technician that you just paying $150 just to show up. And you know that's at least $1,000, $2,000 bill. It always is. That could be your small business.
Yeah.
You be making six figures, working 2/3 of the year. But they do that to keep us down.
Going back to Deshaun's point where we need to highlight some of these men who are business owners in these fields.
Absolutely.
Like, think of our society and our culture. When's the last time you've seen a movie that has a man has a small business, right? And it was a movie that was put out there that people liked and enjoyed.
I don't know.
What I'm saying is our society is not highlighting these men.
No, we're highlighting athletes. That's
you
less
highlight
than 1%,
athletes,
1%.
you highlight these CEOs and all this stuff, and then all these young men are thinking they can become this, or this is what I need to become to get a wife. And that field is very, very small, right? And so it creates this problem in the middle people. So
we're highlighting the rappers. We're highlighting the social influencers. You know what I think? This is my opinion. Okay, and you guys can and please chime in. Well, what were you going to say? What do you think? Why do you think we have this statistic, and what can the church do about it? The 63% of men. Why do you think we're here, and what can the church do?
Again, well, I was saying just highlight men that are in our church who are successful. Okay. Who are doing well for their families and marriages and their kids. Not that they're perfect, but really having young men like meet these guys, spend time with them, realize who they are and how they did it, and that you could do it too. Man, so good. What about you, Bill? What did you think? What did you think we could do, and what can the church do?
Yeah, I think it's teaching. It's taking in the young men, getting them early. Right, 16, 17, 18, or maybe even younger, and teaching them biblical principles. Right, to become mature, hard work, right? Save yourself for marriage and your wife. Don't go out there and go sleep around with everybody. Then you've lost your prime years, and all of a sudden you try to get yourself right. By that time, you've lost 4, 5, 6, 7 years. And so my biggest thing is the church can do is just to teach the young men the biblical way of getting into a relationship and into marriage.
I couldn't agree more. I think we have a twofold problem. I was a little surprised at this. I'm going to be real with you guys. The 63% kind of took my breath away. I was a little surprised at it. I think we have two things going on here. I think number one is we've extended adolescence too high. Talking about you don't really mature until you're 25, 28 now. And then in the same breath, we have dropped down when you're allowed to have a midlife crisis as a man. Talking about men in their early 30s, mid-30s, going through midlife crisis. It's like, so what? You only got 5, 6, 7 good years before you either figure out who you are and then lose who you are? I mean, this is just ridiculous. There's a call. We should have never allowed them to bring in the word adulting because it's not adulting. It's just called growing up. It's just what you do. It's life. And then we've started saying, well, life ain't fair. Well, that's a subjective statement. What do you consider fair? Of course, life ain't fair. It ain't never been fair. And the way you are judging your fairness is on outcome instead of opportunity. Fairness has never been about outcome. It's been about opportunity. And trust me, you have plenty of opportunities. You're just not liking your outcome, and therefore you're over there crying it's not fair. Well, if you don't like the outcome, change the narrative in your head or go try again until you get the outcome that you so desire. But don't hit me with this fairness thing. I think, and I'm going to hit you guys with a loaded question. I've saved this for last, and this is how we're going to end the podcast. I think the phone specifically has been one of the biggest deteriorations of the child's mind. If you track when the phone has become easily accessible to kids, to teenagers specifically, you will see the decline of the moral aptitude of the children. No, they have not gotten smarter. It's been the dumbification because they haven't had to work for the answers. They ask YouTube and Google as if they're almighty God. YouTube and Google cannot give you a moral compass. Only the Word of God can. And so all of a sudden we've seen this decline, and they're saying now girls are more depressed than ever. Of course they are. They're watching Instagram influencers who've had a whole bunch of work done and the right lighting and all these things. So I got a question for you guys. It's a question. I baited you. Is it the app or is it the phone? Is it the apps or is it the phone? What has been the deterioration of our youthful generation? What has been the deterioration of a generation? Has it been has it been access to the phone, or has it been the apps that they download on their phones? What say you?
I say screens have been definitely detrimental to our kids. It allows you to not be present. It's been a detriment to us as parents, giving our kids screens, us being in our screens. But I think it's the screens, not the apps. One of the things that I really like is when I see parents bring their kids to prayer, or parents bring their kids to church, or parents take their kids to a restaurant and they don't give them a screen. I think it's so detrimental when parents give kids screens and take away just the time being together.
Yeah.
Time being in the presence of God. You at church and you got your kid on a screen. I look at it and I'm just like, man, what a wasted opportunity.
Okay.
So I don't think it's the app. Apps are going to continuously change. They've changed since the beginning of the screen, since apps started. But I think it's the screen that kills it.
We'll just go right next to you. Y'all seem to be on soapboxes over here, so you've been the same page. So keep it going.
No, I think it's more social media
Okay.
than the actual phone. I mean, the access to the phone to social media. Mm-hmm. But I think social media has played a major role in, connecting people in for the positive and for the negative. Like you're saying, I'm seeing things that, they never would see. Not willing to connect with other people because you're connecting just simply through the apps and things like that. I don't think it's a healthy thing. I mean, me and my friends were always super close and we saw each other. You got to go knock on their door. Can so-and-so come outside? Now it's just like, oh, I just watch what you're doing online, or let me make some content for YouTube or whatever it may be.
So let me just ask you a question, right? Since you went there. So you said it's more social media. So should we just put a timer on social media, or should we just outlaw social media up until you're the age of 18?
Oh, yeah, I wouldn't let my kids. I don't know. I haven't made a decision yet, but my kids ain't getting social media anytime soon. I don't know.
People got their little kids doing TikTok.
Do you put an age limit on it?
What, like across the
that's
border
not
for my kids?
They're making too much money. That's not happening. They're not putting an age limit on social media.
Oh, the social media for
this
sure.
stuff's
They're not doing it.
They're
For
trying
me,
to get rid of
absolutely.
TikTok and they couldn't get rid of it.
Yeah.
People are mad about it. Was the president trying to do it? And they got mad at him for trying to get rid of
I
TikTok.
don't know. I'm just asking. Do y'all think we put an age limit on social media?
We should.
Look, okay.
Bill's over here trying. I don't know.
That's not happening, guys. You gonna how you gonna get that? You're not gonna get that. You just not.
But
gonna
should
get it.
you?
It's not on the.
Should you?
I think the parent. So your question was: is it the app or the phone? Right. I don't think this to me is an or. It's not an app or the phone. I think it's and. I think it's both.
Well,
Right?
Yeah. Well, I mean,
So
the phone doesn't work without the app.
But exactly. But the content.
The apps don't happen without the phone.
Here's the thing: as a parent, you have the choice to decide what content your kid gets on its phone. Okay.
Yeah, okay.
Hold on.
Okay.
Hold on. And you get these. I know I'm probably a little naive about this. My kids don't have social media, by the way. They don't.
Okay.
They're not allowed to.
But
get on there.
but if it's anything, it's movies, it's YouTube, it's constantly being on a screen.
Well, Discovery Plus, you can get the all drag hour if you want to.
Well, so what's the answer? You're gonna have your kids grow up in the society now that everything that's being used is on its phone. You're gonna have them grow up in a society where they don't know anything about it.
How are the Amish doing? What's their stats?
Well, that's the answer.
Are there young men getting married?
Wait,
they
so you mean so you're saying that you right now you can't raise a kid unless you give them a phone?
No, I'm not saying you can raise a kid. I'm saying at some point your kid's gonna have to get one of these things. And
Why you can't get a flip phone?
Oh, bring back Snake.
That-
I'm ready.
You
Texas
can.
Snake.
I'm saying are you preparing your kid, right, when he turns 18 or 20, when he can go get his own phone, right, by not teaching him what's in here or how the proper way to use it? Is
Okay,
what I'm
you
saying.
said 18 or 20. Problem is, people are giving their kids phones at 5,
No,
6, 7. So I got multiple kids who are in low elementary school, and a lot of these kids got phones in like second grade. You're 7 years old.
I agree, but that's up to you as the parent. Okay, so you need to teach the parents.
He's putting it on the parents.
I don't disagree.
Completely
with
up
that.
to the
These
parents.
not these parents, but other parents are taking their kids to drag shows.
Yeah.
You need to teach your kid. You need to teach the parents of when it is appropriate, not appropriate to have social media and all these things.
Yes, you're right. It's not the phone's fault.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like, but the thing is that
Crack don't do crack. People do crack.
Exactly.
I got you, man.
that's
I know. I mean, because people say, it's the gun's fault. No, it's the person who shoots the gun.
Yeah.
It's the person's fault.
But the answer is not to keep the phone away from your kids completely until they're 18. I don't think that's the answer.
Okay.
You need to teach them how to use it or what's appropriate to use it on.
This is Not Offended podcast. We off the deep end now. This is all bad. But okay, listen. I'm just going to speak from my childhood, right? I'm going to speak from my childhood. And I'm going to say this. I don't know how my I'm a Gen X. I'm a Gen X baby. I was born in 76. And I don't know, looking at this generation right now, and I have kids in 2 different generations, and just because of the age difference. And I'm looking at these kids, and I'm watching kids never go anywhere without a water bottle right now. My whole life, I've never taken a water bottle with me. Like
the little flask,
little
thing
flask.
or whatever.
I don't even like. They got names for them now, like Hydro Flask. Like I grew up a whole childhood, and all we would do is just go to a neighbor's house and just turn on the hose, and we get us a drink of water. Like I'm watching a whole generation. They can't go without their phone and a Hydro Flask. And I'm wondering what happens if war breaks out. We're in a world of trouble because they're gonna be lost without a phone. I'm not saying it's the phone's fault, of course. To quote Mike Cook, crack don't do crack. I'm not even saying it's the apps. I do agree with you with the parenting. What I'm saying right now is we need to be wise. There's something going on. We need to dig a little deeper. We need to use some wisdom from the Lord, and we need to raise these kids. We need to prepare them. There is a war coming. And I ain't talking about physical. I'm talking about spiritual. And this is a gateway drug right here. This will take you. It's what people are saying now. It's taking me to a place where I can be my real me. If you can't be your real me in the world you live in, you in a world of hurt, because this thing will use you. It will abuse you. There's a level of addiction that comes with this phone. The dopamines, the serotonins. You will go to this thing to get a fix. This phone will change your mood. This phone will change your attitude. This phone will change your demeanor. It will also, quite possibly, if you allow it, change your identity. And I'm telling you right now, we got to watch it. We got to be safeguards to our children and what they do. And we need to make the hard decision at times to take that phone away and say, you are not getting it back. If I need to get a hold of you, I'll buy you a rent-a-phone. I'll buy you a phone that's only got X amount of minutes and it can't do nothing but talk and text. That's it. No social media, no access to anything. That's it. Listen, I lived my whole childhood where I didn't have nothing attached to my hip and people still know how to find me. My mama always knew how to find me. Right? I mean, we just got to take a step back and we say, well, how did we ever survive? You survived. I remember riding my bike to my friend's house. You're right, Deshaun. That's how you found out how your friend was doing. You rode your bike. And if you didn't have a bike because you had a flat tire, you walked your happy self there. This is just how you did it. You know how you knew if your friends was over, bikes was out in the front yard. Now you know if a friend's over because they posted it on TikTok. There's no interaction. The interaction is the TikTok they make together. No, interaction is having dialogue, communication. Right? It's getting to know each other. All right, well, this is what we done. We're going to get all sorts of comments, trouble. Jake's going to make a little post on YouTube. They're going to censor us. They're going to be saying stuff. But I'm telling you right now, we have a crisis going on. And we need to be the church.
Yeah, you have to watch that stuff. Before my kids watch any new show, we have to watch it first. They're like, nope, you can't watch this. And we have to explain why. Well, a girl kissing a girl. We don't do that.
You have to parent?
Yeah, you can't do it.
That's a word. Let's end off on that. That's a word. Parents, now is not the time to get lethargic or lazy in parenting. I know life's been hard. I know it's rough. I know some of you out there working 2 jobs right now with inflation so high, but we got to re-engage. There's a generation counting on us. And we need to re-engage. We need to get back in touch with our kids. We need to let them know they're loved. But part of being loved is being disciplined and being told you can't do that. Other people are doing it, but you can't do that because we think higher of you. We think there's more for you. You got a destiny and you got a purpose. This has been the Not Offended Podcast. Thank you so much for tuning in. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share, comment, and please let other people know that we're out there. God bless you guys. We'll see you soon. Peace, and we're out.